I think that is the main reason why now Digimon Survive's release is even more up in the air than it ever was. Where the fuck is Digimon Survive? Yes, it is time for me to talk about this. I feel like everyone now has talked about this, whether they are longtime Digimon fans, they got into the series recently, they haven't played or anything in a while, and they're just interested in the game. There's a lot of people who want to know more about this game. They're dying to know more about this game. They want to know when it's going to come out, and we haven't got anything. We haven't gotten any type of news about Survive since 2019 at Anime Expo. So I wanted to do a quick video because I saw this really cool video. I will leave a link to it. I'll put it here because there's a lot of room here. One, it was really hilarious, but two, is also like, you know, it was really interesting because I have not been paying attention to the Digimon Survive news, because every time I look something up and there's no new news, it makes me a little depressed. Hold on, I know I'm interrupting myself, I'm sorry, but I just need to say this. Some of you watching right now, a lot of you actually, are not subscribed. If you are enjoying the content, you're liking this video, make sure you hit the like button and hit subscribe. About 72%, actually really over 72% of you are not subscribed. Sometimes 83% of you. That's a lot of percent that are not subscribed. So what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. We make videos every week here. And yeah, mostly we talk about Digimon, but we're branching out a little bit. Don't let that fool you. We're gonna be branching out and talking about other stuff. But if you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. And go back to me rambling, I guess. I've been distracting myself with the VPET releases and everything else. So I feel like now is definitely the time, because a lot of people are really clamoring for this game. They got it to the point where they got it trending, I think, about last month. And that's nuts. So, you know, hashtag Operation Survive, I believe, is what they were calling it. So let's just talk about Digimon Survive for the uninitiated, just in case you were watching this video and you have not heard of this game, which is at this point very low, but let me just introduce you to the idea anyway. I want to say back in 2020, they released a teaser trailer for a new Digimon game, a new experience really, and it was called Digimon Survive. I think they leaked either the name, or we knew that it was going to be called Digimon Survive. We knew we were getting a new game. And this came just around the time that Digimon hype was really starting to hit like mainstream. Like, you know, I got back into Digimon sometime around I think it was like maybe 2013, 2012, and right around this time, a lot of people wanted Digimon Redigitized Decode to come out in America. People wanted, and that didn't come out, but then we got Cyber Sleuth in America, we got Next Order in America, and these games did really well. A lot of people who aren't even that into Digimon really love these games. As someone who has played and finally finished Cyber Sleuth, it is a really fun game, and I would be lying to myself if I didn't feel a sense of deep satisfaction when people were recommending that game over Sword and Shield. Now, I don't want to start that war in the comments. I like both games. They both are different games entirely, in my opinion. But it was interesting seeing people that have been really big JRPG fans recommending it. And it was interesting, okay? We got all these games out in America, and they announced, okay, we're making a new game. It's going to be coming out soon. The initial release date, I believe, was supposed to be sometime in 2019. And they announced it was called Digimon Survive, and then we got the first trailer. And the first trailer was, like, mind-blowing. I mean, if you haven't, I will leave a link to it. It's a mind-blowing trailer, because it's nothing any of us were expecting. It was, like, actually, like, really somber and kind of sad and emotional, where, you know, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, Digimon has that in the shows, even in the games. But for the first trailer to be something that was really subdued, in my opinion, was actually really interesting. And we got a glimpse at the gameplay of this game. So the game is supposed to be a visual novel, part visual novel and part strategy RPG, which is very interesting. I don't think we've ever gotten something quite like that with Digimon, or even in general. I can't think of any visual novel type game that has like combat like that. The closest thing I can think of is like Danganronpa, but it doesn't really have combat. There's that whole kind of debate system. So this was going to be a really interesting game, and after that initial announcement, it was almost radio silence for a while. after I think about a year or two, they announced that they kind of went back to the drawing board with the combat system. So there's something wrong with the combat system, they said. Wasn't really working the way they wanted it to, so they kind of went back to the drawing board with that, and they were working to fix that. That was, I think, the last news gameplay-wise we got of Survive until recently. Which, I mean, nothing came out recently. I'm just saying, like, as of this recording, which is, July 22nd, 2021, no Digimon Survive news at all. Nothing of the sort. You know, that's a little worrying. So we know that they went back to the drawing board as far as the combat goes. Now, yeah, the visual novel stuff and most likely all the cutscenes for the game, because they're animated, are most likely done. But when something like your gameplay is going right back to, like, pre-alpha, like you're going back to the drawing board, that takes a lot of time. So the couple years that we had of radio silence, I understood because they were working on fixing the combat system and changing it. And the little that we saw looked like it worked fine, but maybe it didn't, and they wanted to go back to the drawing board. That's fine. Game development takes a long time. I don't really know much about it myself. I'm not going to pretend I'm some kind of expert, but you ask anyone, stuff like that takes a lot of time, and if you're going to go and completely rework something from the ground up like that, that's going to take even more time. Anime Expo 2019, we finally got something for Digimon Survive. They confirmed that it wasn't like quietly canceled or anything crazy like that, because a lot of us were worried about that, because when I mean radio silence, I mean radio silence. We didn't hear nothing about this game at all. I mean, there was literally a span of, I think, a good year and a half where we heard nothing. Bandai had nothing to say about it. People were asking about it. They were just like, oh, it's coming out soon. And that's all we knew. And the tentative date for a while was supposed to be, I believe, 2019. And they got pushed back, and then was like, well, whatever. We don't know when it's going to come out. So, Anime Expo 2019, they announced that the game was, I believe they said, like, yeah, the game's happening, but we're pushing it back again. And I think the date was then 2020. We'll get to that when we get to that. But we did get to see the opening cutscene of the game, which looks fantastic. The animation is beautiful. Pretty sure that wasn't cheap. It's really good animation. And, you know, that's what we're looking at. That's the kind of stuff we're getting in this game. Obviously, this game is going to be something really sick. So, they showed that off. They talked about the future of Digimon and all that good stuff. And then 2020 happened. So if you're not, I mean, all of you know. No one's living under a rock here. We all know what fucking happened last year. And it's still happening this year. And I think that's why we're not hearing anything about it. Because obviously, you know, we had an entire year. It was bad. Obviously. Global pandemics are nothing to, you know, sneeze about. That was a weird way to put it. But you know what I mean. That's the thing. That's the nature of, you know, this kind of horrible thing, is it just messes everything up, and it pushed a lot of things back, and as far as the video game industry, it really crippled it pretty hard. So a lot of games were able to come out last year, but a lot of them weren't. And one of those reasons is obviously because, from what I've been told, apparently Japan, for the longest time, just didn't have any type of work at home system at all. Japan is very old-fashioned when it comes to a lot of things. When the pandemic hit and they had to work from home, it was like a brand new thing to them. And from what I've been told, when you're doing something like working on a video game at home as opposed to being in an office environment, things that you can just kind of go down the hall for and ask about and come back to your office and fix is now a longer process. We saw a lot of games that, you know, were supposed to come out, or we thought were going to come out last year. They didn't come out at all. Nintendo surprised us with a couple things, but their release schedule last year was very lax as well, because things just weren't able to get done as quickly as possible. Yeah, we got like Smash Brothers characters, but they're not making an entire game now, are they? They're just adding characters. You're talking about making entire games here that are in different stages of development, that are being worked on by multiple different people who are now not in the same office anymore. They're all in their separate homes. I think that is the main reason why now Digimon Survive's release is even more up in the air than it ever was. I'm pretty sure if everything went well, we probably would have had this game either by last year like December or like February this year, like the first quarter this year, last quarter last year. I think that was the idea. Obviously, just like I said, the pandemic pushed a lot of things back. E3 came and went. Everyone was begging, pleading for something Digimon Survive related, even just like saying, hey, it's still gonna come out. We got absolutely nothing. I forgot what Bandai Namco even showed off. I think was it literally like one game and they pieced out? I don't even know why how much money did that cost them to show one fucking game and then leave? That was like ridiculous. I don't know why they did that, but they did. I had to do something real quick. I stepped away, I came back, and they were talking about it like it already happened. I was like, what do you mean it already ended? They showed off like one game. There are more things happening this year. Obviously, we have Gamescom, we have Tokyo Game Show. Those are all in a couple months from now. But most people were expecting it to show off at E3. And I think that is what really like blew the lid off this thing. People were like, okay, where's this game? What is happening? Bandai, answer us. Please call back. I showed you my Digimon, please respond. All this stuff. It was really, really bad. But, you know, I'm glad that this is really showing a resilience in the community in a way, if you really think about it, because people really, really want to play this game. They are dying to play this game because it looks like a brand new experience. It looks like a brand new experience really for everyone. Even if you have been in Digimon for a while, it really does feel like different and new. You get to kind of play out your own journey, play out your own episode or season of the show, because the way that this game is supposed to work is your decisions influence different things. They said that characters will die depending on what kind of decisions you make. That's pretty intense for a Digimon game. I don't think there's been any Digimon game so far that's had that kind of system in place where there's permadeath, like, you know, like a Fire Emblem game, along with things like your evolutions being tied to your decisions in the game. So certain things that you'll choose to do will influence what your Digimon digivolve into. That's really cool. Just like I said before, people who played through Hacker's Memory, Cyber Sleuth, and Digimon World Next Order, they are hungry for the next Digimon game. They want it really, really badly. I feel, honestly, I really feel bad for like the game fans, because there's now different types of Digimon fans nowadays. There's a lot of them now. You know, you have the VPET people like myself and others. You have people that are really into the games. You have people that are really into anime, and you have people that are now really into the card game. All of us, we're eating. We got feasts going on. We got, you know, Last Kazuna came out. We got the new anime. We have a new card game. We have just a shit ton of new VPET releases, but no games. Absolutely no games yet, and that is sad. And I know, you know, a lot of people mention the fact that, you know, this is an important part that they do need to kind of cater to and pay attention to. And I don't think necessarily that this is Bandai not caring about that half of the fandom and that half of, you know, just in general. I feel like that's a really big market. Video games are such a huge market nowadays. I mean, of course, we have the mobile game, and that is something, but that's a mobile game. It's not really a game. It's not the experience people want. And the mobile game is really good. Re-Arise does have an interesting story, and I'm happy that they put that much work into it, but it is, like, at the end of the day, gotcha hell. And people don't like that. People want just an experience they can pop into their game system and play and sit down and enjoy. And we have not really gotten that. Now, of course, if Survive is taking so long, which it is, and it is being done by a different team, they did announce saying that, you know, there's essentially 3 different types of Digimon games. We have the Digimon World games, which play like now original Digimon World 1, Redigitize Decode, and Next Order. We have story games, which are like Dawn and Dusk from back in the day on the DS, Hacker's Memory, Cyber Sleuth, etc. And then we have now Survive, which is like its own type of game. It plays differently, which is why it's not called Digimon Story Survive or Digimon World Survive. It's just called Digimon Survive. It's its own type of game. So there is a chance that they're working on a new story game or a new world game while this one is in development as well. And maybe, who knows, maybe when they announce Survive's release date or when Survive comes out, we'll have another game really soon after that. Maybe a year after that, maybe a couple years after that. That's what I hope. But all in all, what I think is happening, to reiterate myself, because I know I'm kind of rambling, I think what's going on is that Digimon Survive was almost done. It was close to being done, the lockdown happened, and those last little tweaks they had to do are now taking years or even more months longer than they were supposed to. Because right now, if you check, most places are still saying that it's supposed to come out this year. Yes, this year, which is already almost halfway done as of this recording. It's supposed to come out this year. That's what they're saying. And it's possible. It is possible. I think there might be enough of this game that is done for it to come out at that point. Maybe not. Maybe it'll come out early next year. Maybe it'll come out even 2023. Who knows? And that's the problem. And I know it's frustrating, but I think at the same time we have to understand that, you know, this was never the plan. This was never the goal. This game was never supposed to kind of like take this long to develop. If they had it their way and if 2020 never happened, again, I'm pretty sure we would have been playing it right now. I'd be playing it right now. Everyone would be playing it right now. We're going to be talking about it and saying how to unlock certain things and spoiling it for other people and whatnot. But that didn't happen, sadly. Unprecedented things keep happening in this game's development. Bandai is not comfortable with giving us a hard release date. And that's a good thing when you think about it. That is a good thing because just like Shigeru Miyamoto said, you know, a rush game's bad forever. But if you really take your time with the game, it could be great, or something like that. I'll put the quote here, or here, whatever. You know what I mean? It is true, you know? The longer they take on this game, the better chance it has to be a good game, instead of just kind of rushing it out of the door. I hope so. Or who knows? Maybe it'll come out, and it'll suck, and we all hate it, and it won't have been worth the wait. Who knows? But that's really it, I guess. I'm going to do a little rambly video, just to talk about, again, about Digimon Survive, and about what I think and my hopes for the game, I guess. I do hope it's a great game. I can't wait for it. You know, we do keep seeing new characters getting introduced and stuff. The initial poster just showed the main character in Agumon. Now it is just full of a bunch of characters. And all these guys are their own people. They all have these really cool designs. They all have amazing, interesting Digimon partners that we usually don't see a lot. So I'm definitely interested and I really can't wait. But, you know, that's what we're doing, is waiting, isn't it? So let me know down below what your hopes are for this game. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, click it, smash that like button, whatever, you know, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go. Huge shout out to my patrons. Damn it. Over here. We'll put them right here. Huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. I know Patreon is now taxing you guys, which I don't really like, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I might just kind of focus more on the channel membership side, because I don't like the fact that you guys have to pay like extra. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go. Peace!